Yo, 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 this is Damage Per Second podcast episode number 72. We getting up there in age, man. But yo, we are back once again on a fine Thursday evening. Myself, I'm about to call myself Gaming Forte. Oh my god. Myself, SloMoBackSlap here with the homie, Gaming Forte. You know, I can't impersonate Forte. I can't impersonate someone who is such a Destiny veteran expert, with 3 times the number of subs on his YouTube channel as mine. I can't impersonate that person. But Forte, what's up, man? How's it going, sir?
What's up, man? No, man, you ain't got to impersonate me, man. You couldn't even do it, man, because you're better. You're better than me in every sense of the word better. You know, everything. Your name's better. your banter on Twitter's better. Your gaming knowledge is better. No, you're just an amazing person, and you know what? You're even a better host. So I'm glad to be on I'm glad to be here with you this week, because guess what? If it was on my show this week, oh boy, this week, oh no, man, I would have been like SloMo. In the act of fairness, I would have needed you to do the show 2 weeks in a row, because I wouldn't have been looking for no topics. I wouldn't have been doing anything this week. So shout out to the Lord by giving it to you this week.
I just, can somebody clip that? Him saying I was better than him and all these other differences. Can someone just clip that part right there for me?
Somebody already did.
But let me shout out some people in the chat real quick. Shout out to Mitchie Dies a Lot. Mitchie, what's up with me with words today? Good to see you.
You like your mother.
No, my mom is asleep right now in her house right now, and she's doing well.
The only thing you won't do is call yourself the B word when you do it.
Thank you, Kay. Kay said he's got that clip for me. What's up to Erodimus? What's up, bro? He said, Wish Queen or Elden Ring? Choices. Well, we're going to get into all of that. We're going to get into, you know what? I should probably change.
One works and one doesn't.
Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Do not do that. Well, actually, I would say that some people kind of feel like Wish Queen don't work, but we can get into that later. After his passion, what is up, bro? I just let you know after his passion that I haven't forgot that you said you would give $100 to whichever one of us would in a super chat. Whichever one of us wins.
What number are you at now?
I'm at 6 now, man.
Okay, I'm at 2.
What's your number 2?
Witch Queen.
Oh, okay.
I beat it yesterday.
Oh, good for you.
Halo Infinite and Witch Queen.
Oh,
Witch Queen was a guarantee, so
Yeah,
man, that's a long campaign. I wasn't expecting to be as long as it was.
I've heard that. You know what? I'm not gonna say it yet. Well, I'll surprise everyone with that later on. Gats Gaming TV, thank you for joining us tonight. What's up? How you doing? The Blue One, what's up? Railzair 00. Hustle and Motivates in the house. What's up, Hustle? And the homie K Asante. Now, glad to see all you guys here. We're gonna have a great show tonight. First things first, we're gonna talk about our weeks real quick, then we'll get into the topics. But I did want to ask Forte how his week's been going. How you been, man? I feel like I barely talked to you this week.
We haven't. I was just thinking, like, man, this is like great. I can literally learn everything about SloMo all over again, because I haven't talked to him since literally the show last week. Matter of fact, did you do Scumcast on Saturday? You did, didn't you?
Yeah, we talked. Last time we talked was Saturday, I think.
Saturday. Yeah, I was. Yeah, I just had a lot of work, because I basically just worked like crazy all the way up till Monday, and then I had inventory on Tuesday. And the biggest thing is, like, I didn't even get really a chance to play as much as I wanted in some games, because kids are on winter break this week, and I had to take them somewhere. Normally we go to like Kalahari this week or something like that, but due to situations in the world, we was like, nah, man, not going to a petri dish, not today. So we stayed home and we did. I took them around to like Dave & Buster's and stuff over the week and stuff. So spent a lot of quality time with the family and stuff outside of just grinding my face off in the games and stuff. But nah, other than that, man, it's just been a really, really relaxing week for me. What about you?
What have I been up to? Doing a lot of work. Work has been pretty crazy over the past week and a half, so I've been doing a ton of that. Really not being able to play as many games as I want or stream as much as I want. And in a time period right now where essentially we have so many games coming out all around the same time. It's been really difficult. I finally finished Mass Effect Legendary Edition on PlayStation. I beat Mass Effect 3. I was trying to do the whole, like, you know how like you got that readiness meter where like you keep getting assets, you keep getting to build your army against the Reapers, you keep getting alliances with different races and different groups and factions to join you. I got to the point where it was just like I'm looking and I'm like, what else do I have to do? Like I just got too tired of trying to remember everything that I need to do to get that readiness meter to 100% before I go into taking on the Cerebus. Because once you start that mission, that's it. After the Cerebus, you invade the Cerebus base, you're heading to Earth to do the final mission. So all of that, like I just said, you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and finish it because I just don't have the time. You know, I had started Horizon Forbidden West, as you see the gameplay for that right now on the screen. I started that, and then I said, let me go knock something else out because I'm getting Elden Ring. Surprisingly, and I'm going to get it on PlayStation because a lot of the people that I know that's going to play Elden Ring, and most of the reason I'm getting is for co-op, is that they're going to be playing it on PlayStation too. So there's no crossplay. Might as well get it on PlayStation. So I'm doing all that, and like I said, you know, I'm team delete your games, right? I'm not team go buy a $200 NVMe SSD to slot into the expansion slot of your PlayStation 5. No, I'm team, you got games on your internal SSD that you're not playing, delete them bastards. Just get rid of them because you're not playing it.
Right.
Clearly. And delete it, free that space up for something that you actually do want to play. And so or beat the games that you're playing, which is what I did. So I beat Mass Effect 3. You know, great game. Not the best ending, of course. We're not gonna get into that. But I beat Mass Effect 3, deleted that off. Now I got the space for Elden Ring. First thing in the morning, I'll be getting that install done, and I'll probably be able to go live on my Twitch channel with my first playthrough, me first getting started into the game. So yeah, that's been about it, man. Like I been playing a little bit of Lost Ark here and there, a little bit of Rogue Company, of course, but busy, just super busy. But all that said, let's go ahead and we got the pleasantries out the way. Let's get into these topics here, man.
Yeah,
it has been a very interesting week. The first thing I wanted to talk about was this talk from Jason Schreier. Well, first, did you see the flare up between Jason Schreier and Tom Henderson? Because
I did.
So if you guys there aren't aware, chat, Jason Schreier dropped the news that Call of Duty, the 2023 Call of Duty, will be delayed 1 year to 2024. So this will be the first time in 15 years, 16 years
that it wouldn't be an annual release.
That's not going to be it, right? There's not going to be an annual release of Call of Duty, which is that's huge news. So Jason Schreier I guess he has some kind of subscription service thing that's super expensive or whatever, and he posted the news of that right on the Bloomberg service. I think it's called the Terminal or something. Everyone starts talking about it. Tom Henderson sees it. He just talks about it. But I guess Jason got a problem with Tom Henderson because like he just went in on them, like, stop being a fake insider. That's Bloomberg information and you're trying to pass as your own. It was funny. It was hilarious, you know. But all that said, oh, well, hold on real quick. Shout out to Randall Thor 19 in the house with the $10 super chat. He says, you know, it has been tough to choose who the best host of DPS is, but now I know. It's SloMo because he is my Bridge 4 brother. Yes, sir. Bridge 4 for life. Life before death, strength before weakness, journey before destination. Rand is the man. See, he knows. I'm telling you, the Stormlight Archives, man.
I know what you're talking about. See, listen, this is nothing new because I know Rand is your new best friend because I haven't talked to Rand. Ask matter of fact, Rand, when is the last time you picked up a phone and called me in the last 2 months? But guess what, Rand? Who's called you multiple times over the last 2 months when you were sick or you just going through it and checking in on you?
Oh my
but you know
gosh.
what? But you know what, Rand? You know, I understand that you found your new calling. It ain't playing video games no more. It's called reading books. And nothing wrong with reading books.
And not just reading books,
listen,
reading excellent books. Okay?
No, yeah, reading amazing books. And I understand that reading is fundamental and it's key to the structure and the faith of a person's heart and their desire to want to be better and understand things outside of just a visual way. They want to literally understand it in a literal form. I understand that. And that's why you and SloMo get along so well. So you know what? I guess I will just acquiesce to the fact that you and SloMo are new buddies and I can just, sit over here. Maybe I'll become friends with Jez or something,
Or you could read the book that we read. This guy, it's got four main books, and it's got two what they call them? Two novellas. They got two novellas, right? The books are 1,000 pages each, so I mean you're gonna have to like really dig in, but it's good. It's like you don't even realize you've read 1,000 pages. It's that good.
I know you told me that Rand literally started telling you stuff about it. You was like, dude, you just started.
Yeah, I'm just like, bro, like he'd be like, I'm just starting the book 2, Words of Radiance. I'm like, all right, cool. Right. I'm thinking like, a week from now he's gonna tell me how I feel. 2 days later, finished Words of Radiance. It was great. I'm like, wait, what?
That's great. No, man, I'm happy for you, Rand. I'm glad that you are enjoying the book. SloMo always has really good recommendations and stuff on books, and the fact that you really took to it, I'm happy to hear that you're loving and enjoying it. It would be nice to talk to you every once in a while, though. But appreciate you coming through as always, though, homie. You still my boy. I still love you.
Oh my gosh, the guilt trips. Anyway, let's get back on topic. Matter of
fact, when's the last time Rand made a video? By the way.
And look, babe, let him enjoy his books, man. He is engrossed in the Cosmere, okay? Like in the Brandon Sanderson's brain. This he's got great stories, man. It's good.
Okay.
Anyway, look, Call of Duty. Okay. So
let's talk about Call of Duty.
Treyarch is the studio that's doing the one that's supposed to be for 2023. Is it Infinity Ward that's supposed to do the one this year, or does Infinity Ward just do Warzone?
No, it's Infinity War.
Okay, so all right, so Treyarch's still in 2024, and apparently this decision was made completely independent of Microsoft, which makes sense because although they don't own them yet, so they really can't make any decisions. And I'm pretty sure that Jason felt compelled to add that tidbit in there in case people started going around spreading a rumor that Microsoft was forcing this to happen, and then that'd be one more thing that the Microsoft people will have to speak to regulators about. Like, no, we didn't tell them to skip a year. We didn't do that. That wasn't us, So anyway, this decision seems to be led by the fact that that Activision executives are pretty much making their reaction to the fact that Call of Duty Vanguard really underperformed, and they're concerned about these annual releases cannibalizing one another. So, Forte, my question to you is, what do you think about this? Do you think this is a good move? Do you think that this will cause a problem with Call of Duty, or is it just going to end up becoming like what we needed for Call of Duty to be a better game?
No, because the first thing that we thought about is Microsoft. When this purchase does go through, and we're just going to assume that it will, was the direction they needed to go in, because Call of Duty, in the standpoint of the annual releases, have become kind of stagnant. Not too much of a difference. They have they have revolutionized gameplay a little bit when it comes to like running on walls and exo stuff and stuff like that.
They kind of stole that from Titanfall. Let's give it a buck.
Well, I'm just saying, but they stole it from Titanfall, but they changed it up enough. I mean, you have to give them some type of credit, because, you know, we say the same thing about Fortnite. Fortnite steals everything from everybody, but Fortnite just happens to do it better than everybody else. So that's why that game still kind of just succeeds, and it's just massive at this point. Call of Duty is the same thing. You know, if you're not taking from your competitors, you're not doing it right. So I do agree that they need to innovate more, but I think in order for them to do that on a grander scale, they need to like not have this be as annualized as it is. Not saying that you can't have some years where it's back to back. Maybe you just had a really good development cycle between two developers and you can get them out back to back. But for the most part, we should never be aiming to have those games ship on a year-to-year basis. And the reason I say that, and the biggest reason I say that, is because they got Warzone. Warzone can literally fund them. It literally, Warzone makes more money than the base Call of Duty at this point. We already know that campaigns by themselves is the biggest part of a development in when it comes to dollars and cents. You know, that's where all of the funding for the game goes to, paying for your developers and also making that campaign, because those cinematics aren't cheap that they put in those games. It takes up a big bulk of the pie. So I think being able to flesh that stuff out, maybe get to the point where Call of Duty campaigns aren't just a trivial 5 to 6 hours long, maybe add a little bit more time, 7 to 8 hours. You could expand it a little bit more, give a little bit more creativity and player decision when it comes to those type of games, because I do think we are in an age where you don't just want to experience a game. You want to make decisions. You want your decisions to kind of impact and play itself out inside of a game. And I see some of the best games out there doing stuff like that when it comes to their story narratives and stuff like that. If we were just talking about the multiplayer portion of the game, then yeah, that's something that they could just rinse and repeat over and over again. But when it comes to like what Call of Duty is kind of built on, when it comes to like at least the annual side of it, Warzone pretty much takes that over. And I do think it does give them the ability to probably have a team, instead of working on just Call of Duty, like that one game for a year, they could work on a new Warzone map. They can do stuff in coalization when it comes to that, because the one thing that people don't realize is when a new Call of Duty comes out, normally they shift over the focus of that Call of Duty to Warzone, and everything in Warzone kind of changes around it. So a new map or new weapons and stuff hit into the game. So not only are you just giving a new breath of fresh air to the mainline Call of Duty, but you're also building on top of Warzone too. So instead of Warzone being every year thing, the single player in the base game being an every year thing, now you can just make Warzone be that, and you consistently up and refresh that over the course of the year to give people that multiplayer fix, and then give the 2 to 3 year development cycle for these developers really to hone in what makes these games better, and turn it up to 11, because I do miss what Modern Warfare 1, 2, and 3 did. Like that was like when I played Call of Duty for the campaign. I really didn't play Black Ops and stuff for the campaign, even though I hear they were really good. I was really, truly invested in the Modern Warfare series just because it was a coherent story from beginning to end. I do hear that Black Ops kind of has the same narrative, but I do hear that it goes off the rails quite a bit by the time you get to like 4 and everything. But in general, I think it's a good idea. You can't be mad at something like that. But if this does happen, I think it would be by far the best decision they could do. And it's good that they're making that decision before Microsoft does the acquisition of them, because I do think Microsoft would have did it for them by the time this actually happened.
Mm. Yeah, real quick, just want to do the $5 super chat from Erodimus. He says, "Oh wow, I never knew that Forte was this self-centered. Let Rand live his life."
I do let him live his life every day. Every day.
I think Erodimus thinks you're demanding too much of our friend.
Demanding too much of a friend. Okay. I demand a lot of you too, Erodimus. You don't hear me. Never mind. Keep it moving.
All right. Anyway, it's yeah. I mean, I agree with you, man. I think this is only going to help the game. I kind of wish that Activision would have not let the wheels kind of fall off Call of Duty's annual releases before they finally realized what we had all have known about the series, and they're basically putting way too much emphasis and too much focus on purely just Call of Duty than they needed to. And we've known this for years, and everyone has said it for years. And because the numbers always continue to either stay consistent or grow and get bigger as far as sales and revenue goes, the Activision was just like, yeah, so what?
Right.
It's the same thing every year. Well, looks like people like the same thing every year. So guess what? You gonna get the same thing every year. And now they're like, oh, whoopsie. Maybe we should have been trying to give the devs a little bit more time to flesh the games out and actually make them different. And I do agree, because when you see with the whole fact that they said that they think the new annual Call of Duty is cannibalizing the previous year. We saw it last year where the 2020 Call of Duty was the second most sold game.
Yeah, behind Cold War.
Yeah, like you really didn't need to have Vanguard that year. You could have actually that could have been people who would some of those people are repeat buyers, of course, right? But you could probably lost a good number of people who would have been playing Cold War and probably would have continued to spend money in that, and you could have been just fine and been able to have the Vanguard actually give it another year to breathe and actually flesh it out a little bit more. So it makes sense to me. Shout out to Enrique.
What up?
Basement Radio Arcade Podcast, the $2 super chat. He says, Elden Ring, let's go. Game of the year 2022. And we're going to get into that later on.
Hold up. Hit your love and saying Elden Ring Game of the Year 2022 was only worth $2, sir. Elden Ring. Wait a minute. You said Elden Ring. You ain't just say Elden Ring. Let's go. 2022 Game of the Year. You was like Elden Ring. You like said it from your gut, and it was only worth $2. I love you, bro. Now he gonna be compelled to do like a $10 super chat.
It's gonna be Elden Ring, best Souls game ever. It's gonna be a whole bunch of extra stuff in there. Shout out to Enrique. We can move.
One other thing I want to say, one more thing to that. The one thing I do think that this will help is the fact that I do think it will give a lot of people, because people buy Call of Duty games all year round, like you said. I do think it will bring more people into the game. Like some people don't buy the game day one. You know, the fact that game still charts the next year lets you know by that. So maybe those numbers, instead of being a decrease, they actually increase, because people will be looking forward to, you know, like games going on sale and stuff like that. It gives it a little bit longer tail to burn on. But then I also think people will actually be looking forward even more to the new Call of Duty, because it has been a full 2-3 year cycle since the last one. And they're going to be like really excited for those innovations and stuff. Because I remember when we used to get excited in March, April, and May when they had their reveal for the next Call of Duty. We really don't have that anymore. And people would say COVID has been a reason for that. But no, even before COVID, we don't get as excited for a Call of Duty reveal like we used to, like those huge events where they would have content creators sitting in an arena and they want to show off the multiplayer and the single player and all the little stuff that came out that's coming out with the new game. I think that's something that we're kind of missing due to the fact that it's been so annualized every year. And I do think moving this to a non-annual release cadence would actually really, really help with just overall getting people more excited for the game again.
Yep, I agree. Another interesting bit of news that came out. Was it today? I feel like this had to have been today. But shout out to our homie Jeff Grubb, who kind of dropped this tidbit down for us. And this apparently, and something that I said needed to happen as soon as the announcement was made. But Fallout New Vegas 2 is in early talks now that ZeniMax Media, aka everything that's Bethesda, is now under the same roof with Microsoft / Xbox, as well as Obsidian Entertainment, the developer of the first Fallout New Vegas. So now you have the publisher and the developer all under the same umbrella. As soon as the deal was announced, before it was even finalized, I said to myself, look, I tweeted this out. I said, they better make a Fallout New Vegas.
Yeah.
I haven't even played Fallout New Vegas because I can't stand Fallout. But I'm just thinking, as someone that just like, if you really want to find ways to build up your platform and bring content that people want to see, that is a no-brainer. Like, freaking no-brainer. Do it, right? Like, you have to get that done. And I don't know what's going to happen with that, but it looks like it's because like when they say early talks, like that, things can go left very easily. Like, things can turn out to not work out the way they wanted it to. Maybe Obsidian's too busy because they got multiple projects to deal with. Maybe like the ideas of what they would like to do with a New Vegas 2 isn't something that Bethesda would actually care for. But the fact that like they actually realize like we should be working on this. Like this is something I think the Obsidian CEO back in, I think it was 2013. I think back in 2013, he had said something in an interview about that, that he would love to do a sequel. Actually, yeah, here's the quote. He said, we'd love to do a Fallout New Vegas 2. It would be awesome. If I think of going from Fallout 1 to Fallout 2, we tried to associate the two areas somewhat closely. So, I mean, I don't know exactly what that full quote was talking about, but essentially, like, they wanted to do this for years. So I think that it's really all about just resources and time, and maybe, you know, if it does end up happening, we're probably not going to even see a trailer for this until like years and years from now. But I don't know. Forte, what do you think about this?
No, listen, as soon as I was just like you, as soon as I saw this happen, I was like, okay, so can we get a part 2 to New Vegas, which in most people's eyes is probably the best one that was ever made, I think. And then it would just bring back the creators of the franchise back, because like I said, the only reason they sold is because they needed to keep those lights on. You know, Bethesda got lucky when, you know, they just couldn't afford to basically keep making those games without some type of financial backing when it came to that. So they decided to just go ahead and sell it, which is to the benefit of Bethesda. But now that we have these two studios underneath the same umbrella, that was the first thing a lot of people said. So, we can actually get a proper Fallout New Vegas 2, or at least something in vain of that. It doesn't have to actually be that, but it could just the possibility that they could make another Fallout game, which is, I think, a lot of people would actually really, really enjoy. And I think that Fallout New Vegas has some of the best DLC of all the Fallout games. I mean, Fallout 3 has some really good DLC. Fallout 4 has some pretty decent ones too, but I still think New Vegas has some of the best. So I do think a lot of people are really, really looking forward to this actually being a thing. And if it actually does come to fruition, it really just comes to like, it's not going to come out anytime soon, of course. Hasn't even been anything that's been announced. It's just rumors of a talk right now. Yeah. But due to the fact that, Xbox is definitely moving in a direction where they want to get as many games into a service called Game Pass. And Bethesda already came out and said that the next Fallout game is super far out because, they're right now they're working on Starfield, and then they got Elder Scrolls 6 in development. So by the time you get to a Fallout 5, you are pretty much looking at probably 2032, 33, maybe 34, honestly, with the release schedule that they kind of have. So if they can get somebody else in development for that, I would think that would be really, really good. And who else other than wants to make it, because they already are very familiar.
But see, but also this is like, that makes a lot of sense. But then we also got to think about that, like Obsidian was agreed to be acquired to be allowed to have the creative freedom to make what they want. Now it could be a dream of them to do a Fallout 5, right? They might want to do a Fallout 5, like a mainline Fallout, of course, right? But maybe they're just like, that's not our baby. Like now that we have
their baby, it depends on how many of those people are still there.
Yeah, true. Which it's been a while. It's been quite a while. So like you're probably not going to get a lot of people that's still there. But that said, like they could be very much in the lane that they feel like they just want to create their own experiences. Like for example, with Double Fine, there was the rumor that what's the guy that runs Double Fine's name? It's right on the tip of my tongue.
Oh, you're talking about Tim Schafer?
Yes, Tim Schafer. Tim Schafer was approached with, after they had been acquired, that potentially like would they want to do like a Banjo-Kazooie, because there's so much IP that Microsoft now has, and a lot of it would seem to be right down their alley, and they just really weren't interested in that. They're more interested in their own intellectual properties, their own experiences, in that taking something that someone else has created and doing something with it, which makes a lot of sense to me. Because creative people don't want to take what other people have done and then have to deal with all the pressure of living up to great expectations. 1, 2, having to deal with whenever you decide to be creative or innovative with what someone else has already created, having the fan base backlash against you with, this isn't Fallout. This isn't what Fallout is. Like, like basically, essentially a lot of what 343 has had to do with. Whether it's fair or not. But I don't think a lot of developers really want to deal with that kind of deal. That it could be like, say, if you and I had created our own indie studio and we didn't have a name for ourselves yet, like that we'd be like, oh yeah, like the opportunity to take Fallout and actually like make the next Fallout, it's a dream come true.
Yeah.
But then it's like, Of course, you feel that way if you're like brand new to all of this, like, but when you're an established developer, the way Obsidian is, yeah, Fallout New, like, I can see them loving to I can see them absolutely loving the opportunity to do a New Vegas, because New Vegas was their spin on that universe, and they were able to be creative within that because it wasn't following the exact, mainline Fallout. And now they're going to have the opportunity to do more of that. And so still that allows them to be creative and have that creative freedom. But I just think doing the Fallout 5 would be a little much. I don't know. We'll see.
That's the thing. I don't think they would do a Fallout 5. I think if you were talking about mainline.
Hey, that's a great name. Backslap Studios. I love it. Like I can see the logo now. It's just the hand. It's just the hand, like the back of a hand.
Somebody's hand with invisible glasses just flying somewhere in the picture. Yeah, it'll be pretty cool.
I can see the logo now. Go ahead, man.
No, I agree. I don't think it would be. I don't think Bethesda would want to let somebody outside of Bethesda software or publishing to actually do a mainline Fallout game. I do think it would be like a spinoff, which is something they're more capable, they're more probably comfortable with. But I also think that Obsidian, they already proved that they can kind of make a game that's not in the Fallout universe, and they're already working on part 2 to the Outer Worlds right now. So
Outer Worlds, I loved Outer Worlds.
yeah.
And it's wild because it's like a lot of people think, oh, it's Fallout in space, and I think visual aesthetic, yes, it did look a lot like Fallout, but
I think the characters are a little bit more. They have more character to them.
Yes, I saw a lot of influence of the kind of storytelling and narrative trees and the characters and your interaction with those characters that you would see from old school BioWare, which also kind of comes from the same I guess descendant tree, because they all came from Interplay, and so they're all kind of interconnected with the people who work with Bethesda in-house studios, Obsidian, and BioWare, and in Exile, by the way, because they come from that too. The studio head of In Exile was the CEO of Interplay, so they all kind of come from that same group of developers and that same focus on narrative and those narrative trees and player choice. But I think that what Outer Worlds did was just awesome, and it came out of left field. A lot of people wasn't really expecting it, and I can't wait for part 2. Yeah. But I think.
No, I think.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. I thought you go ahead. Go ahead. Finish what you're saying.
No. I actually cut you off, so you finish what you were saying.
Oh, look at you. Oh, you're so silly. No, I do agree with that. Like I said, I just think the biggest thing is, would they want to make it? And I do think your whole thought process on, like, the creative freedom, wanting to make what you want to make, I do think that is still real and part of the scenario. I just think a lot of people would love to see this, but honestly, they're largely looking at like, yeah, that was our past. This and Outer Worlds is our future. The things that would they really want to implement? Because you want to think, would they want to implement and take away from the structure of the Outer Worlds to do that? Because some of that stuff would kind of be a crossover. You would think the stuff that they would develop for another Fallout game is the stuff that they would probably want to leave in house for the game that they're making. Not saying that they wouldn't want to, further the Fallout brand, but they want to get Outer Worlds out there to be even bigger than it is now. Right. So I do think that they'll probably be a little bit more selfish with just the fact that they want to, build up their baby, something, even though they technically both were their babies and stuff, but it just comes down to the fact that they don't own that anymore. So would people love to see it? I do, just for nostalgic reasons, but I do think that Outer Worlds is more than likely the priority for them. And once they get their latest title out the door, I think that's where you're going to see them full tilt focus on that. And then maybe in the future, after, Outer Worlds is out, then the next game they start working on, or maybe with the money that Microsoft is affording them to be able to make these games, they can split another team out to the side to be able to function and do something separate like that. Then I think that would be a good idea. But I do think that with them firmly entrenched in Outer Worlds, I think that's going to be the focus for them in the near future. But it's a nice headline and a nice article to write, and it's going to definitely get people clicking and wanting to talk about it.
Yeah. A question from the chat from Erodimus, I thought was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I wanted to get your thoughts on it. Erodimus asks about In Exile. What if In Exile did the next Fallout game?
Didn't they did the original no, no.
Well, Interplay. So Fallout 1 and 2 was done by Interplay. Now, the studio head for In Exile is Brian Fargo, who was running Interplay, and a lot of the same people who work at In Exile are also like they come from that kind of like RPG, Western RPG format. Like if you play Wasteland 3, you'll see a lot of the same. Definitely not in the way the game looks, because it's an isometric RPG, more strategy, instead of say like a Mass Effect or Outer Worlds, that kind of stuff. But
No,
It's definitely not first person
I agree with
perspective or
that.
third person perspective, but it's isometric. But they kind of deal in that kind of format. I think NXR could do a good job with it. I actually think they could do an excellent job with it. And unlike Obsidian, they may have a little bit more bandwidth to be able to do it in a little bit sooner than both Bethesda in-house studios and Obsidian could. The only other thing I think about is the fact that they're much smaller. So Obsidian's like 200 devs.
Yeah,
Bethesda is who knows how many. They're big, right? So,
they're big. They're huge.
but I think the last time in Exile, I thought they were close to like 100. When they got acquired, they were like 70 developers and like 15 extra contractors, so around like 85 or whatever. But like they have to be bigger than that, because I know they were definitely staffing up, as a lot of the studios that come under Xbox Game Studios began to do as soon as they got acquired. So I don't know, they're a much smaller team, but and they have a couple of games that they're working on right now, but I think they probably would be better able to get started sooner than say Obsidian or Bethesda, because they
Right.
would take years before they could actually get
Yeah,
something like that out.
I agree.
Yeah.
Andrew.
Cool. All right. One before we got into Horizon Forbidden West impressions, I did want to also talk about something, just because like I'm a massive Dragon Age fan.
Trash.
Sir.
I'm just talking.
Okay. Like don't start nothing. Won't be nothing.
Well, I mean, if we actually ever get a game with all these defections,
Look. So they get that's the defection. So like okay, as big of a Dragon Age fan that I am, I have to admit when like I'm very, very concerned about what's happening here. So essentially what's going on right now is that we have a problem here with Dragon Age, and Dragon Age has lost yet another director. This was their third lead director on Dragon Age 4, who is now gone. And man, it's not looking too good. I don't care how often they try to come up with all kinds of excuses for this, and even getting to the point where people are like former directors are saying things. Like former directors are like, oh well, I have full confidence in the Dragon Age team, and everything's going to be great. The previous director, Christian Daly, is all like, that team's awesome. That game it's all on schedule. EA's like, we're in mid production. Everything, we're hitting all the milestones. Everything's great. Then why is the director leaving? Like, somebody explain. Like, no one leaves when everything is great.
no, they do not.
People leave when things are not good. Like stop. Like, look, you can try to pretty this pig up all you want, but it's still a pig. You can spray all the Febreze you want on this dog-ish, but it's still dog-ish. Like, you can't tell me that everything's going great, everything's going fine. Bye, Christian. Thank you for coming in after the last guy left mysteriously and being here for a year. Bye. And you rebooted the game 3 times already.
Right.
3 reboots, huh? You rebooted the game 3 times. You had to go out and tell everyone, hey, yeah, we're no longer going to force BioWare to add multiplayer. we're not going to do that anymore. So like we don't have to worry about them being forced to do multiplayer. Yeah. Okay. What? Like, all of this is going on, and you going to tell me like this is that everything's A-okay, everything's hunky dory? Forte, what do you think about this, man?
Man, all we got was like a render of what was it? Was a rendered video that they showed
Oh,
last year?
all they've shown, they've got some trailers, like teaser. They've done two teaser trailers back to back, essentially. Like they haven't really shown anything whatsoever, and then they also have shown us a lot of concept art.
Mm-hmm.
They love showing us concept art, man.
They love showing you concept art. I don't know, man. It's kind of spooky, if you ask me. It's been, I mean, like you said, one's fine, two is questionable, three is like, yo, what's really going on here? Like, are we just slowly changing over the upper management over at BioWare to the point where we already know it's not BioWare anymore. That's been stated and
It's
known for quite
BioWare
some time
name.
now.
Yeah, BioWare name, but
Yeah,
not
it's all it
necessarily
is.
with the silent. Yeah.
But the thing is, it's never good for people to be moving on mid development. Like, we said the same thing with Chris Lake when he left Halo, when he got reassigned, and we was like, yo, that was the first. I mean, we already knew there was issues with the game because there was a lot of stuff that was coming out from Glassdoor and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But the moment he was gone, we was like, yo, it's something really going on there. And then people start digging more and more into like Glassdoor interviews and stuff like that. They start seeing that there's a lot of dysfunction. There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes, a lot of stuff going on with contractors and stuff like that. So all of that stuff is kind of just tied to the fact that, and it may not have anything to do with the fact that Chris Lake ended up leaving, but all that stuff is just brought up because he was leaving. So now what are people going to do now? People are going to start looking for news any and everywhere they can. They're like, why is this person leave? Is there anything that's coinciding around the same time that his departure of the company or the development house with this type of leave? What else is going on? When's the last time they showed anything else off for the game? Are they hiring for new technical analysis people? That is the thing that people are going to be doing now, instead of wondering, is Dragon Age 4 going to be a good game? Right. That's what people are going to be doing. And SloMo, and unfortunately for you, because I know you like to dig into a lot of news and information when it comes to games you truly love, and I know Dragon Age is like literally the second coming of BioWare to you when it comes to your love for that franchise. It's like the only thing you love more is Mass Effect from BioWare. You love Dragon Age.
I actually love Dragon Age more than Mass Effect.
You do?
This is what I've always said, that and I think it's because it's the medieval, the themes, the magic, the fantasies part of it it appeals to me more than the sci-fi side of things. So I always say that the Mass Effect trilogy are a better collection of games than the Dragon Age games, but I prefer the Dragon Age games because I'm showing gameplay from Dragon Age Origins on PC. This is like my first playthrough of it on PC, but on Xbox, I've played through Dragon Age Origins over a dozen times, and I've completed. It's very much like Mass Effect, where your decisions carry over to the next game. So the decisions, the things that you did, let's say if a particular character becomes king in your game in Origins, that remains consistent in your world that you created all the way up into Inquisition, which is the fourth game. That's 3 games in a massive expansion and Awakenings. And so all that stuff is very much the same way the way Mass Effect is. It's just a different aesthetic. It's medieval. It's, people talk different, that kind of stuff. There's dragons, there's elves and dwarfs and all kinds of stuff, but amazing writing. I think in a lot of ways, some ways better writing than what you get from Mass Effect in a lot of ways. But it is like a series that I prefer more than Mass Effect. So, which is to me why I'm so kind of disturbed by a lot of the stuff that I keep seeing. To recap Dragon Age 4's development real quick for everybody that's listening. Dragon Age 4 initially started development before Anthem came out. Now, back in 2017, the lead director was Mike Laidlaw. And Mike Laidlaw had been lead director for every Dragon Age game until then. He got his entire team taken away from him, and Dragon Age 4 put on hiatus so the Dragon Age team could go help the Anthem team get Anthem ready, because this is right after they showed that amazing trailer of Anthem at E3, showing it as a looter shooter, and even the developers on the Anthem team didn't even know it was a looter shooter.
Mm-hmm.
So they had a lot of work to do. Mark Dara was one of the directors for Dragon Age, became unofficially the lead developer on the lead director on Anthem, because the other guy just couldn't get anything done. Mike Laidlaw quits because he's like, this is the second time I've had to have my Dragon Age team co-opted to go save another game. BioWare did this to him for Dragon Age 2. The reason why Dragon Age 2 turned out to be the kind of game it was is because they only had 15 months to make that game. That team had to go help the Star Wars team. Hard stop at the 15 months. Blame EA for that, right? Mm-hmm. So he leaves. Anthem comes out. It bombs, as everyone knew it would, based off of everything that came out. They start Dragon Age again. Now, because Mike Laidlaw quit the company, Mark Dara is taking over. So Mark Dara is he's the second lead director. Mm-hmm. Now, you remember, was this last year? Yeah, it was last year that this happened. He and Casey Hudson both leave BioWare at the same time.
Yeah. They
both leave at the same exact time.
Literally,
and it's like, so who's running Dragon Age? Your next game up. They put Christian Daly on it. Christian Daly they got from Blizzard. Came well recommended from Blizzard. He saved Star Wars: The Old Republic. He tried to save Anthem. He had some great ideas for Anthem. They didn't want to go forward with it because they didn't think that anybody would pay additional money for an Anthem next, which most people wouldn't.
Right.
They put him on it, and then he's the one that left. So it's just like, these are more directors that's been in charge of this game and more reboots of this game than Halo Infinite.
True.
Than Anthem. Like, when you kind of put it in perspective, it just looks terrible. And I'm not trying to pass judgment on the game and say it's definitely going to fail, but it don't look like it's going to turn out great, man.
You just don't look at it. I mean, what's the name of the Spider-Man Homecoming? Zazaya, what did she say? She was like, expect disappointment, because if you expect disappointment, you can never be disappointed. I think that's what she said. I can't remember exactly.
I don't think it was exactly like that, but I see what you mean. Like, yeah. I mean, like, it would be a great like surprise that it turned out to be good. You know, like, oh, it's amazing. And look, I'm not saying absolutely that people like I just mentioned Mark Dara, who I think is really good at game development and very good at Dragon Age, and did his best with Anthem. But he did a video today. He's kind of a YouTuber now. He did a video today, and he said that he's not worried about Dragon Age 4 at all. That there are a lot of people from the old Dragon Age teams that still work on this Dragon Age, and that not one person makes a game, which is true. He's right. Very true. Like people always, talk glowingly about Kojima, but it's called Kojima Productions for a reason, because Kojima isn't making a game by himself. Like, even though these previous Dragon Age games come well recommended by a lot of people, but the people that left didn't make it by themselves.
Right.
But typically when you see high profile people leave a company or stop working on a game, those games don't have the same level of quality.
Right.
Like, we just can't ignore that. And so I look, man, I would love to be wrong. I would love for this Dragon Age 4 to be like the best Dragon Age ever. But when I know that the lead writer who created this entire universe for Dragon Age don't even work at BioWare no more.
Yeah.
When all the lead, most of the lead directors no longer work there. Yeah.
I mean, it's just like anything else that was like kind of one of your favorites and stuff. Like, I'm a huge fan of Mario O'Donnell when he, still a fan of him, because of the Halo soundtrack and stuff. And that was one of the things I was looking forward to when Bungie said they were doing Destiny, knowing that soundtrack was going to be phenomenal. I own every soundtrack for every Bungie game. Well, not every, just the Halo and all the Destiny ones. I own all those soundtracks and stuff. It's because it's amazing. And I was really, really worried. Like, is the music going to get bad in Halo now? Salvatore is still there working at Bungie making them, which was his right-hand man when it came to making that stuff. But I didn't know if it was going to take a fall off. But I love the music still. So that was a fear that I had. Nothing as deep as how you are about the whole game and stuff like that, just one part of it. But, sometimes you just got to sit back and just like, it looks grim. It looks dark. Hopefully, all of these moves aren't for a troubling reason. Maybe some of these moves are just because people just been doing this for so long and they just are ready to step away. I do, like you said, Bardara did say that, there's a lot of people there that still love that franchise, people that worked on them originally. I just think the head of it is pretty much completely different now. So the only thing that kind of sucks about that is it could be a different direction that they want to go in when it comes to that. And sometimes that's kind of needed. See God of War 2018, the direction of that game was completely different than any other God of War before. And it paid off and worked for them. But that is not the norm when it comes to what people usually get when it comes to like a reimagination of what they're doing with their games. Call of Duty tried to do it, like we said, and fell on its face until they kind of implemented it to get a little bit better for people to actually enjoy. But it's definitely understood and is noted. I just think that in general, man, I just hate to see moves like this, especially when you don't even really know anything truly about the game at this point because they show so little of it. But then again, the fact that they have shown only so little of it, you really won't even understand and know what they changed over the course of the development cycle because they've been really, really tight-lipped on any like system level stuff when it comes to like talking about this game. Just pretty much teaser trailers, kind of story arc, not even story arcs, but just telling you where things are probably going to take place and stuff like that. But we don't really have any.
Yeah, and a lot of that, stuff. like the ideas, like shout out to Luca, Dash and Luca. Me and her have talked multiple times about what we were, what was rumored that where it was going to take place, and some of that stuff is still true. Like it's going to take place in the region of Tevinter, which both her and I were excited about that because that region, that country hasn't been explored in Dragon Age yet as far as allowing the player to see it. And I was really excited about that. They're still doing that, but a lot of the ideas that they had, goes back to the very first attempt to get this game out before it was initially canceled and then brought out with the first reboot. And after the first reboot, that's when EA was trying to make it a live service game, which nobody wanted, and which is which kind of like preceded them to have to come out and say, yes, we are not forcing BioWare to do live service or multiplayer anymore. Dragon Age 4 is going to be only a single player game. And then that's when they did another reboot. So it's just like the game's been rebooted 3 times already. It's just who the heck knows? I'm
reboot.
Right. I'm frustrated, but I'm just kind of hoping that like there was some talk that like it might come out next year, and I'm just like, You just
What
rebooted,
for?
but you just rebooted the game last year. Like, how is it coming out next year? Like, I don't know. I think they need to chill
Patience,
on that.
SloMo, patience.
I got patience. I just don't want to I've never had a problem with a game being delayed because I know that the game that I end up getting, if they don't delay it, it's probably going to be bad or like have issues. So I never have a problem with delays. I celebrate delays because to me
Right.
that means that the game's going to get better. But I don't like hearing after all these reboots and new directors, you're going to try to come out with the game next year. What? No. After all this, so
Right.
whatever. We'll see. We can go ahead and move on to Horizon Forbidden West.
Ooh, Aloy.
We
Aloy.
I have played the game. Have you played the game, Forte?
Heck no. I have the game.
I thought you said you played a little bit of it.
I did play a little bit of it, like
How
10,
much?
10 minutes.
10 minutes.
10 minutes. And you know what you want to know why? Okay, I'm gonna tell you the real reason why. So I got the game I didn't get it on release, I got it on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
So I got the game, installed it, loaded it, and was like, yo, this game looks phenomenal. Messed around with some of the settings. I played the first, basically the intro.
K Asante the chat. 47 hours in. You haven't beat the game yet?
No,
47 hours.
That man is taking his time. That man is doing every
side quest. Every side quest. He got all the nooks and crannies. He even found everything. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
No, so I did the starting area. So I probably played by like 30, 40 minutes. So did the starting area. And then I was like, you know what, Shannon, Forte, this is what I said. I literally talked to myself when I was thinking about this. I was like, do I really want this game to become part 1 of Horizon Zero Dawn? I said, I really don't want to do that because because that's what happened with me the first one. Something came out right around the same time that game came out, which was called a game called Breath of the Wild, and Zelda is literally my favorite Nintendo franchise. And I dropped it like a bad habit. And when I went to go back and play it, I was like, I don't even know where I'm at. I don't know what I was doing. I just know I was in Meridian and I didn't like it anymore. And I just dropped the game. Like I just didn't want to play it no more because I just didn't want to pick it up.
Hey,
so in my mind, I was like,
real quick, yes. I forgot to talk about the poll. I did a poll when we were still talking about Fallout New Vegas. The results of the poll, 23 votes. Thank you for everyone that voted. Would you play a Fallout New Vegas 2? 73% said yes, 26% said no. So hey, look, it looks like making that kind of decision to work on the Fallout New Vegas is a damn good idea. My bad. Yep. Go ahead, bro.
No. So I told myself, I was like, yo, listen, I'm not going to start this game. Because if I start this game and I get significantly, because if I would have started, I would have probably got 10, 15 hours in because Destiny's DLC didn't come out till Tuesday. So I was like, yeah, I'll probably get a big chunk of time in. So I was like, you know what? No, I'm not going to do this to myself because I know I'm not going to beat it before it comes out. So I didn't even want to start trying to learn the systems and everything and then stop cold turkey. So the goal is, and I'm still going back to Horizon. That's why I bought it. I forced myself to do that. I was like, okay, when the raid comes out next week for Destiny, after I beat that, I pretty much am good with my Destiny fix for at least a consistent day-to-day gameplay where I'm like, okay, I can go play Horizon Zero Dawn and I can experience it then because I want to do that. I want to do Elden Ring. Those are games that are definitely something I want to get to and definitely want to play before the second half of this year. So I'm definitely going to get to that. But I just didn't want to start it knowing that I wasn't going to be able to commit to it once the 22nd came around. So, but from what I did play of it, it feels better. It looks phenomenal. Mm-hmm. I watched a lot of other people's streams, and the one thing I will say is some of the best diversity and characters that I've ever seen in a video game when it comes to people of color. Really, really good looking game when it comes to that.
And not a reskin, not
they're all different.
not white and Asian people with tans and calling them black people. No, actual like black people with features, like physical features that black people have. Like
like the lips are discolored, which is accurate.
Right. So like, yeah. Are you finished? Because I
no,
can talk.
no. I know you. I know you played. I don't know how many hours you got in. You must have got 47 hours in.
Oh no, nowhere near K's hours. I'm probably like Deli in the chat says he's shout out to Deli. He says he's got 7 hours and he's hit level 9. I'm probably probably a little bit like maybe level 10 or I can't remember. I might be level somewhere in the teens. I'll have to double check it. Unfortunately, I haven't played Horizon in a few days just because I've been so busy, as I mentioned earlier in the show. But I really have only had like 2 very long sessions of playing the game. But so far, what I can say about it is that it is better than Horizon Zero Dawn in a lot of ways. With visuals, clearly, look at the visuals right now. It was hard. It was hard to
on her face.
Yeah, I mean, it was hard to outdo Zero Dawn because Zero Dawn was a beautiful game when it came out in 2017. But this does it. I mean, clearly, even with it being a cross-gen game, it does it. But to kind of talk about the things I think they improved, things that I had issues with Zero Dawn. I think the pacing of the story is a bit better. I know there's some people who still don't like it. I think they just don't like the story in general. I like the story. I liked the premise. I thought it was just paced poorly with Zero Dawn. I think the pacing is a lot better in this game. It really picks up once you get to the Forbidden West, and you essentially will get to the Forbidden West as soon as you're done with the prologue area, which is where I'm at right now. What you're seeing, the gameplay you're seeing right now is the prologue area. After this, you go talk to a lot of people that you saw that you knew NPCs from the first game, side characters, and then you move on to the Forbidden West, where one thing I really liked I had an issue with side quests with Zero Dawn. I thought some of the side quests were very much fetch quest kind of stuff, but some of the rewards for those fetch quests were like way too important for the kind of side quest that it was. Well, what I really like in this game is that the side quests make sense for the area and story that you're in, and they're important. For example, like there's this area, the very first area you get into once you get into the Forbidden West, and like there's this town they're like miners. And these miners have dealing with the fact that there's a new kind of machine that is basically terrorizing everyone who leaves the town's walls, the bristlebacks. So like the main mission is that you need to eliminate the bristlebacks in the area so that it's safe for the miners to go back to work. But then there's the side mission that you can go figure out exactly how did the bristlebacks even get into this valley in the first place, because it's kind of closed off. And there shouldn't be any like huge numbers of a certain kind of machine migrating into that area. And so I took out a rebel base and it ended up investigating that, like this side mission. And then like it took a couple of more missions, ended up having me introduced to a bunch of side characters and see some of the politicking that was going on with the miners in that town. But I resolved the side mission and the story and everything about what happened. And, it was like I got a little invested in it. And I say a side mission is a good side mission when it makes you forget the main mission. It makes you say, this main mission can wait.
Right.
And that's what it did. So like I appreciate that. Another issue I had with the first game was the melee combat. I thought was very mediocre, subpar. And I think they improved that. They have like 5 skill trees now. And so these skill trees kind of change the way Aloy approaches combat. I think the only 2 that I find interesting are the Hunter tree and the Warrior tree. And I have focused on the Warrior tree primarily. The Warrior tree is great. I love it. It's basically it's all about her and her spear and melee combat. I fought this one enemy, Forte, and no lie. Like I mean, like after leveling, not completely leveled up the warrior tree, but I'm a significant way through it. This guy, it was an ambush. This guy jumps down, he's trying, he acting all big and bad. Rolls up on Aloy. I beat the armor off this dude. By the time I was done with him, he was bucket naked. I mean, bucket freaking naked. I was like, yeah, like, I mean, I'm out here, like it was crazy, man. I really, really enjoyed it, and I think like they added the glider. The glider's cool. They added the ability to charge up your focus so that you could you can hit people with arrows and they can explode. Like they added some things to the combat that made it a little bit more a little bit deeper than it was with Zero Dawn, which is what you want from a sequel, right? But I think this is a game that if you didn't like Zero Dawn and you actually beat it, you actually finished it, then you're probably not going to like the Forbidden West, because it does a lot of the same things that the first game did. The story is very similar. Although I think it's told a bit better, it's still the same kind of game. And if you don't like the gameplay, if you don't like Aloy, if you find her boring, I think she's a bit sassier in this game than in the previous games. A bit more
she's
aloof.
Definitely more. Yeah, she is.
Yeah, and I get it, because she's like socially, she was raised by an outcast, or her stepfather is the only person she really had to talk to. So other people consider her a friend after everything they went through in Zero Dawn, and she's just like, you all right. she's not like, I love you guys. Yeah, I'm about to go save the world again. Bye, guys. No, she's just like, all right, I'm out. Or she don't even tell people she's out. She just leaves. And a lot of people, I think it's been a little much where like they've been really writing wise hammering it home that she kind of ticked some people off with her inability, her bad social skills. But I think that kind of deals with a little bit like where Gorilla isn't, like they're not the best at writing. They're not the best that's not really what they were most known for anyway. And so it's I think there's some issues there with them and their writing, but it's still better than what it was with the first game. Now, all that said, am I one of the people that's out here upset that the game is like, what is it, 88, 87 on Metacritic now?
Better not be.
No, well, no, he said better not be. No, I think it definitely fell to 88. And the previous game was 89. Do I care about that? Nah, not even a little bit. Yeah, and yes, Amon says the facial animations and mannerisms was insane. That was another complaint from the first game, that the facial expressions were wonky. They had dead eyes. That the whole like my face is tired thing meme from Mass Effect Andromeda. They definitely had a lot of that going on, but there's none of that in Forbidden West. And black people, like again, black people look awesome in this game, except for that one minor with the Justin Bieber haircut. I have no freaking idea what happened there. They screwed that up. That was awful. But everyone else is great,
So anyway, he had the Wookiee look with
it was a woman. No, it was a woman.
Oh, it was a woman
with a Justin Bieber haircut, and I was just like looking at her like, what were they thinking? Like, I don't understand it. But like Varl, the guy that's you see here in the gameplay with Aloy, he looks great. He's got dreads. He looks authentic. They gave him a beard now. Like he looks cool. I mean, like the amount of detail they put into just random NPCs. Like people that you're gonna have one conversation with for the rest of the game, but these people look like someone put loving care into making this character, and I'm just like, well, damn, thank you, I appreciate that. This game's got more black people in it than I mean, I can't think of any other game that I can't think of any other game that has as many black people in it as this game does.
So I got a question. Did you check out the homie BG's interview that he did with the guy that did the review from Survivor?
I caught the tail end of it, so I planned on like watching the replay, but I just never got around to it.
It was a really good interview.
So what was his rationale for giving the game a 6.5?
Because he's a gameplay over everything type person. He said he basically gave. Well, first of all, Survivor, they have their scale. He doesn't work directly for them. He freelances for them. So he does a lot of different reviews for different sites and stuff. But Survivor, their 10-point scale, basically, since they are a European review site, they score pretty much like 6.5 for them is basically above average. Like that's like average game for them. For compared to like us, we look at it like if it's less than a 7, that's terrible.
Yeah, so a 6.5, it is literally a 6.5. It isn't like a Metacritic translation to a 6.5?
No, their 6.5 is 6.5 because their grading scale out of 10.
Interesting.
Because they look at it as you got to go check and look at it, but he made a good point on it. He said on the outside looking in, being a person that doesn't really like look at it, he's like, you was to say, well, 6.5 is kind of crazy. That's a crazy score to give something. He said on the outside, I could understand it. He said, but if you look at it from the inside, Survivor, they provided BG with their breakdown of what their, the methodology behind their review scores and everything, and how scores are broken down, like how it starts at a 1 and 1 is like horrible, not working, this and that, blah, 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 where 5 is like passable, okay, but good. 6 and up, like 6 to 6.5 is like above average. And that's why he said the game was like above average to him. He did say that it suffered from sequelitis to him. He said because he was so blown away from the first one that his score reflected how excited he was from what they did in the first one. But he said the second review, because he did the review for the first one too, because they did bring up the fact that he gave the first one like a 9.2. And he was like, I just feel like some of the systems that are in place, yes, they're better, but overall, do they really impact?
He gave the first one a 9.2.
He gave the first one a 9.2.
He did it for Survivor?
I believe he did. Yeah, for Survivor, he gave it a 9.2. So he's
okay. Give me a second. Okay.
Yeah. You need to go listen to the thing. He did a really good job in explaining it.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. All right. So does he think Forbidden West is worse than Zero Dawn?
No, he actually said he thinks it's a better game. He said in certain aspects it's a better game overall, but he said the things that the game are better in, they are very, very minute. But he said the things that the game was bad in basically is what took the score down some for him, because he said it wasn't a huge improvement over some of the stuff they did. Like he said, like the traversal, like people say the traversal was way freaking better in this game than it was in the first one. And he had a really good breakdown on talking about how, in the first one, how they had like the holding points for you to climb, rocks or mountains and stuff. And they were like placed in like strategic places around the map and stuff where you can get up. And there was really only one way to get there. In this one, they took those handholds away and they basically put the yellow line. And he said that yellow line is everywhere in the game.
But only if you... Okay, look, I also, like, I don't know if he was playing on guided mode or explorer mode.
He even said he plays he played both of them. He always plays at the default mode. And
wait, I'm not talking about like difficulty level. There's like outside of that, guided mode is where like all the icons just flash all the time. Yep. I chose explorer because I didn't want that stuff up unless I specifically needed it. So the handholds and stuff, I never really see that until I'm looking for it, and I normally can just determine by the environment like where that stuff is. Like I feel like he just played it with guided mode.
No, he played in explorer mode. He said, and I mean, I guess, but the biggest thing is he's looking for that stuff. Like, when you're doing a review, you're looking to see, like, hey, so how did they change the traversal? Where's all these things that in his eyes, he felt like all they did was just move. They just took away the points where they just stand out, and they just put lines everywhere, so you don't notice them unless you're looking for them. But he said in his review, he was looking like, okay, how do I get here? And he said it's literally the same thing. It's no different. It's not worse. It's not better. It's just that they gave you more ways to get to the same way, but it's still nothing new. So, I mean, I'm doing him a disservice. I thought it was a really, really good interview that he actually did. But I think
shout out to BG. That's really awesome.
It was like an hour and a half, 2 hour long interview. And the dude was very, very professional with it. BG was super professional with it. I do think the biggest thing is he really did speak to the disconnect between the audience here and the audience over there, where they look at, review scores over there. They review harsher over there. And he said over in Australia for Survivor, he said he looks at it like you should want to have a game, be reviewed a little bit harder because, people get this thought process in their head that a game needs to be a 10 or something.
I get that, but like you said, his 9.2 was for Survivor.
It was 4, yeah.
So,
but he also said it's not a big difference between he said a 3-point difference isn't that
big
of a difference.
That's a huge difference.
He said in his mind, a 3-point. He said it's a 3-point
in
difference.
his mind. Okay, well, the rest of the world. That's look. But
I will ask you this. I will ask you the same thing he asked BG at the very end. He said, I will ask you this, SloMo. Does his 6.5, him giving it a 6.5, do anything to ruin the experience that you're having in that game?
Oh, not at all. It does nothing for me. Reviews never do anything for me. My only thing with reviews, the only thing I really even pay attention to in reviews is whether, like, a reviewer says, I couldn't play the game because the game is like a broken, buggy mess. That's when I'm like, okay, now I'm paying. Like, this review might deter me from playing the game at this point in time because, like, the game is not playable. Like, I need to know those kind of things, and then what the developer is doing.
The Winter Shoulder said he don't think the 9-point. Because I came in towards the end, they were talking about it. He said he don't think the 9.2 was for Survivor. His review for it, but he did give it a 9.2. His first one, so it could have just been a completely different website, different grading.
Yeah, because he is a freelancer. Like, that's why I was like that. That's my only good. Like, I understand like the logic that you were saying that he deployed on in the interview about that. It's just that, like, that would make sense if it's not like the same website with the same level of rules.
It literally was the last question he asked him. So if you go to the very end of the interview, that was the last thing they talked about, was the difference in his review score between Horizon Zero Dawn and Forbidden West. And I think he was a little bit more shaky on just that part of it, due to the fact that, that's all subjective at that point. He just, in his mind, he felt like overall it's a better looking game, but in his mind, he feels like graphical fidelity is like low on his bar when it comes to like his score. He said he scores gameplay above all else, and he just feels like the gameplay kind of fell apart in some places. Plus, he said he was one of those people that had glitches in the game too, which he said he didn't really put a huge emphasis on, but they were there.
Okay. Yeah, Blade X in the chat said he played the game on normal and complained the combat was too easy because he's a Souls guy. Now, look, I have no problem with people playing games on normal. I'm actually playing the gameplay you're seeing right now is on normal. I got zero issues with that. I ain't trying to
play hard for nobody.
I mean, look, I want a challenge. Like, I put it on normal for now. If I'll bump it up to a higher difficulty if I felt like I need to, right? Which I probably will at some point before I finish the game, just because based off of what I played so far, it's not. I'm not saying it's super easy, but it's just like I haven't been challenged at all in the game. Now, all that said, I'm not going to complain about the combat. I'm not gonna say it's too easy when I haven't played it on the hardest difficulty. You played on the hardest difficulty and then say it's too easy or fine. Like I like how people complained about the difficulty of Spider-Man 2018.
Mm-hmm.
That game was too easy. The main campaign, yeah, I can see that because like I played it on the hardest difficulty and I didn't have a challenge. Once I unlocked all of his different web shooters and everything, I mean I was just playing around with people. Once I unlocked a lot of the skills and started chaining the combos and just started knocking people out with one punch, it wasn't difficult at all. Now I think Insomniac took that feedback and said, "Cool, we appreciate that. Check out the DLC now," because the DLC was a lot harder. I appreciate that, like trying to take out those warehouses with the gangs and in the DLC was a lot not as easy as it was in the main campaign. And I appreciate that, but if someone's playing a game on normal and they're just like it's too easy, well, there's a simple solution for you, sir. Go into options, bump it up off of normal. Right. Like why didn't he do that? And it's just like this is why real quick.
No, go ahead.
This is why you shouldn't take reviews too seriously. Once again, you shouldn't be taking Metacritic seriously.
Yeah,
because Metacritic is flawed. Like again, I think I said this last week when we were talking about Metacritic. Metacritic takes Giant Bomb and VentureBeat's reviews and misinterprets them. They do a 5-star rating and they translate that into a 10 or 100
20 points
score, point metric, which that doesn't work because if they do a game, they say a game is 3 out of 5.
That's a 6.
That becomes a 60, which is not what a 3 out of 5 is. And so it's just like you got that. You got the fact that certain publications or certain sources are weighted higher or heavier on the score than other sources, which if I am one of the lighter weighted sources on Metacritic, I'm wondering, well, why did I go through all of this to be able to get my reviews on Metacritic if you're going to consider my score less of a relevant score than IGN and GameSpot and whoever the hell else? It's just like, well, what's the purpose of me being here? It's just I don't agree with how Metacritic does things, but regardless of that, like I said, don't let reviews dictate what you play. And once again, the only people who really care about this are the people who the console warriors who want to brag about it.
And that's the thing I think he brought the light when he said it too. He said, I don't think this is even really about the review. He said, I think this is about people's, like, it seemed like it was a betting thing. He says like the betting public was betting that this game would do this. And when it didn't hit that 90, some people were really, really hurt by that. He said, I don't know why they were hurt by that, but he's like, it just seemed like it was used as someone's list war to basically be able to say like, oh, look at this game. Another Sony exclusive hits 90 and stuff like that. You know, so like you said, in general, it just comes down to personal taste. He was like, the biggest thing I took from it was the fact that he said people just need to take reviews with a grain of salt and they need to be like, okay, you can glean something from a review. He said even a hardcore person, he said the reason he plays on normal is because most people that boot up a game, he said my review and most reviews should be booted up on a game to be played at whatever the developer intends you to play at. So he said, I can put it on hard. He said, like he plays Dark Souls.
Did Gorilla say that like they intend on people playing games on normal? Because no.
It's just whatever he says, whatever setting the game is set for when you first boot it up is the mode that he always reviews his games at. He said because that he said it's a conscious effort to just make sure it's where it is. He said now if the developer wants you to play at a different one, they'll probably you know how some games tell you when the screen boots up, it will tell you like this is the difficulty that you want. It will give you like an option to pick them, and it's like
they give you descriptions for each one. Like this is the recommended setting. This is that kind of stuff.
But he said if the game doesn't give you that, he said I'm just booting it up on a normal mode or whatever mode they intend you to play on, because
that still doesn't give him license to call it too easy.
Well, yeah. Well,
because if he finds it too easy, he looked at
the first one the same way though. But
he has to take that like, okay, look, so he chose normal for the reviewer, for the readers of his review, but then put his own personal preference as a Souls guy.
Well, no, he felt like the game. He said he feels like the game handholds you too much. Like some of the things, like he says, like when Aloy is like it solves problems for you without you having to figure it out. Like you'll go into an area, you may not know where you need to go initially, but then you stand there or just run around in a circle for a second. Aloy will be like, as soon as you get in the room, she's like, oh, I need to go through this vent, or oh, I need to climb this, or I need to go up higher.
Oh, so she says, I get that.
It's like the cues that she gives in the game, and he said that kind of takes away from the experience where you're not really giving a person a chance to figure this out, compared to like the first one. They really didn't do that. The first one, it was like you would have to like stand there for like an eternity, and then once the game realized like this dude don't know where the heck he need to go, then they'll give you like audio cues to actually tell you like, hey, this direction, or hey, go up here. He felt like they did a little bit too much of that, and that was mostly due to the fact that when he thought his criticism of the game being a little bit too easier, because he said even though in the game is easy, he said it should be pretty straightforward for people to just pick up the game and play it. But he said that they really don't even give you any type of like, there's no fear in playing the game at all on a normal level. He said there should be some type of level of I have to do this. It has to you have to give me some type of, what's the word he used? He said you have to give me some type of challenge, even in a normal
the challenge. No, look. This again. This goes back to this. Hold on. This goes back to me. Him applying. Him saying this is how other people should play it, and then applying his personal preference to that. This is what I'm saying.
That's what the subjective reviews are for. Yeah,
true. But then I'm just pointing out the flaw in his logic, and the flaw in his logic is that if any, like he's ignoring the fact that some people would just go to the options and bump the difficulty up to hard.
Most people don't, though. That's the thing.
I mean, I do that.
Majority, well, the majority. That's what he even said.
When I played Scarlet Nexus, hold on. When I played Scarlet Nexus, the first hour or two, I played at normal and it was too easy, and I pushed it up to hard because I wanted the challenge. Like I do that when I play a game. If it's too easy, I bump it up. Like I don't want like it to just be a cakewalk.
You want to hear what he said about that though too? And you're right. And because that was a question that BG asked him about that. And he was like, how everybody can get something out of a review. He said, yeah, he was like, definitely. He said, even a hardcore person that's going to play on hard can get something out of review, because if I'm up here telling all of these things are a little bit too easy and I'm playing on this game mode and they're not really challenging you in this thing. He said, most hardcore people, if they read that, they're going to be like, well, I'm not playing on the normal or medium difficulty. I'm just going to boot it up. Whereas most people don't do that. And he's like, he said that the review is basically geared to the normal person that's just going to boot up the game, hit play or hit start, and just start the adventure. And that's the way that he reviewed the game. He said hardcore people, they're going to go through and they're going to, spec the way they want to do. They're going to change settings. They're going to make sure the actual gameplay experience matches what they want the game to actually be. And he says, yeah, a person can get something out of a review for that. But he said, for the most part, everybody is playing the game pretty much just to beat the game. And I mean, he's not wrong about that. That's one thing I will give him. He's not wrong about that. But people just got to understand that reviews are very, very subjective. you should only use it as a guideline to basically guide you, not even in your purchase decision. It should just guide you in like, oh, this sounds really interesting. I like what this person is saying about this game, or I like what they're saying about this game. But for the most part, your mind should already be set on if you want to buy a game regardless or not. It should just be, kind of reinforced more once you hear a review like, oh, it's great, or oh, it got some trouble here. Well, I still want to play it, but I might just want to wait for the day one patch to come out before I actually make the purchase and see what happens.
And that's what I was talking about, where it like the only thing I care about with reviews is just to make sure that the game isn't broken.
Right.
If it's got a ton of issues, and I can be, my opinion on the game can definitely be influenced by the number of bugs that I deal with. Like, I could probably like a game that isn't all that great if it's not a buggy mess. But if it's a buggy, it could be a great game, but it's a buggy mess. Like, the things that I'm going to keep remembering are going to be the issues that I had. Like, there's some things about Cyberpunk where my most memorable experiences in Cyberpunk 2077 are the weird bugs that I dealt with and my frustrations with that. And they overshadow some of the great points in the story in the game where I remember playing a certain part and I'm like, well, that was actually pretty damn cool. That was actually pretty damn awesome, but like the bugs overshadowed that. And so, like, that's the kind of stuff that I'm like, if I see that in a review, I'm gonna hold off on the game. But like, people saying the game isn't good, or like saying it's not, none of that ever deters me. Like, if I'm sold on the game, I'm sold on the game, period. Like, if Elden Ring, which is we're gonna talk about, later on, if Elden Ring had abysmal reviews, I still would be getting Elden Ring.
Still be getting Elden Ring, yeah.
Right. But like, we can move on.
I agree with that. I one thing I will say, I just respect. Normally I would give, because there's a lot of stuff I didn't agree with in what he was saying, but I give a person a lot of credit just for the fact that he came on that show.
Yeah, I do give him that respect for that.
I had to give him because I have to take what he says as very respectful, because he was able to come on a show knowing he was going to get the smoke. He even said he said he was real nervous. He didn't know how that was really going to go off, but he said it was really, really well done. And I got to give him a lot of respect for doing that, because most people wouldn't put themselves in a situation where they gotta basically be questioned about something that they put out there for the world to see. And I respect them for doing that.
I agree with that. I give him a lot of respect for actually just showing up in live, where it's not pre-recorded, that can't be edited. You can't say, maybe he could have said, hey, BG, don't ask these questions, but I don't think BG the kind of person that would like do an interview like that, right?
We ain't doing the show then.
We ain't doing the show then. He'd be on the timeline talking about him, right? But no, like, I do give him respect for jumping out there and just saying how he feels, regardless of how people took it and how people agree, feel about it. I disagree with him on a number of different things, but then again, I didn't actually watch the full thing. I came in at the end and haven't had a chance to watch the replay of it. But again, I do respect that he did that. Let's move on, because I think we're a little bit behind. Let's talk about. I'm pretty sure you can't wait to talk about this. Let's talk about Witch Queen, man. Destiny 2 Witch Queen, the new expansion for Destiny by Bungie. What are your thoughts, sir, as someone who's finished it?
Oh man, by far the best campaign that Bungie has done in Destiny. I'm still wondering,
even better than Destiny 1?
Oh, absolutely. It's like Taken King up to this point was one of the best campaign experiences I've ever had. But this surpassed it in so many different ways. It's the point that the experience was so coherent that it was scary. It's like they've been building towards this crescendo when it comes to just the overall narrative that they've been doing for the last year. And I'm so happy that they took the extra time off. You can literally see that 4 or 5 months extra that they took to make us suffer through a elongated season that was kind of dreadful for everybody was what they needed to do in order to bring something that the community truly wanted was story that was really impacted in the game, where you actually had the ability to follow along to a point where it was like really scary. And the story wasn't short. Like I said, it took me, I played it on legendary difficulty, which is probably the best. No, it's not even probably. It is the best way to play the game. If you're not playing that legendary, you're pretty much just cakewalking it. And I think it's a little bit more substantive when you actually can persevere through the single player, either by yourself or in co-op with your friends, which is something we all wish Halo Infinite had at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that also makes it even more enjoyable. But yeah, man, it was probably like an 8-9 hour campaign, but with the struggle bus of doing some of those missions, it ended up being closer to 12 for me. And I enjoyed it, man. And that's just campaign. We haven't even gotten to the release of the raid, which is next Saturday. They're even continuing the storyline past the campaign with some of the seasonal stuff that's going on, which is something that they tried doing earlier in the year, but they had so many different fragmented pieces to the story when it came to, we got to tie up this loose end and we got to tie up that loose end. Now that all those loose ends are kind of tied up over the course of last year, it really truly seems like they're heading in a direction. And anybody, and I'm not going to spoil, but anybody that saw the last cutscene of the campaign, the first thing you'll say is, wow, that is what we've been looking forward to for the last 7 years. And they're finally getting to that point. And I'm happy. And it's crazy, bro. I'm enjoying it more than I thought I would. And the fact that you got gameplay on the screen showing that you actually jumped into this DLC warms my heart beyond belief. But go ahead, man. Matter of fact, how far did you even get into this DLC before you decided to turn it off and delete it off your PC?
Well, I haven't uninstalled it yet, so that's
okay.
Good. I actually been playing. So I the gameplay you're seeing, I played on Legendary solo for a good maybe 2.5 hours.
Okay.
And earlier today, I played another hour or two with on one of my homies, or one of my close friends, who's a Destiny crackhead like you. All he plays is Destiny, so like he's finished the campaign as well. He's working on his second character with it, and he joined me. Him and one of his clan buddies joined me, and we played for a couple of hours, which I'm glad they did at the section that I was at, because the game kind of, like, it didn't fully change, but like it has some of the mechanics of a Destiny raid.
Yes.
At certain parts, and I just as we were doing it, and I was just imagining doing that solo and be like, no, I would not want to be doing this solo. So, but as far as that, I do agree with you with a number of different things. Something that I recalled with previous expansions, with Destiny 2, and you know how I'm not like the biggest fan of Bungie anymore, or Destiny, but something that I always felt somewhat annoyed with was how like the introductory mission would be so short.
Oh,
and they would just dump you on at the tower and like figure out what to do next, kind of deal. And it's just like, well, what the heck am I supposed to do next? Especially for someone who doesn't play the game religiously, like it's a second job, and is in it every single day. Like this is the kind of game that you drop it for 2 weeks and you're already lost. What's happening? What's going on? What am I supposed to be doing? What is this item? What is this relic? What am I doing? Like, you don't know anything. And I like how, like, I expected that from this campaign, and then I just kept wondering, like, yo, when is this mission going to end?
I'm telling you, bro.
And I'm just like, and like 45 minutes in, I'm like, I'm still on this daggone mission. And then like I'm like, what is happening? I don't understand. Like, but like it did. I started to feel like it started to remind me of like almost like a Halo campaign where it just keeps going, and you just like you finish a certain part, you kill a boss, and then you just continue on. And I was actually kind of like confused because I didn't know what to do. Like, because I kind of wanted to like take a break.
Or do you want people to join you? Yeah, because that's how I was.
Yeah, and I was just like, well, like I actually hit up my friend and was like, "Yo, can I turn this off?" Can I? Because like I don't know how long this campaign is, but I kind of need to go pick up my kids from school, and
Right.
and he's like, yeah. They got checkpoints, so wherever the last major thing you did is where your checkpoint would be. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just literally sitting here after beating the boss, and he's like, yeah, you can go shut it down. So I was like, cool. Like, look, I'm enjoying myself. I already know right now this is not good for me. This isn't like I'm back on Destiny or anything. This is just me playing a cool campaign. The story's all right. I mean, I'm not as invested in it as other people are, but it's all right. I enjoy it. I like the fact that like the enemies, there are like these hive that have ghosts in their guardians themselves, and like some of them, when you fight the hive guardians, you need to kill their ghost in order to make sure they don't come back. Yeah, you have to take that ghost out, and there's a little animation when you grab the ghost in your hand and squeeze it like a bug thing. I thought that was pretty funny. It's all right. It's not bad. I like it. I'm gonna finish it.
You gonna finish it just so you can say, "Now you can't have I beat the same thing you beat." I already know how this is gonna go.
I mean, this is definitely going to be number 7. This is definitely going to be, because I'm gonna beat this before I beat Horizon Forbidden West.
I'm gonna let you do that last mission by yourself.
Amon in the chat asked me how I get the Halo gun. So like they did last year, they did for Halo's anniversary, Bungie made the Halo pistol and Halo battle rifle in Destiny, and I actually did jump back in just to get those weapons, and then I uninstalled it again. So that's
don't you love how just people looking at your gameplay like, yo, those are Halo weapons.
But yeah, they just knew off the break those gotta be Halo weapons, just by how they operate.
And they're both really good.
Yeah. I'm not using them right now anymore because I got other weapons now based off of, like, you played in Legendary. It's harder. As you can tell, like the enemies I'm shooting would have died from like 2 bursts from my battle rifle in regular, normal, whatever it's called. The other one's called. In Legendary, it takes some shots, man. So playing a little bit more cautiously than I normally would play a Halo campaign. But all that said, like the rewards are also greater as well. So
you get double the rewards in Legendary.
Yeah, so like I was probably still at like light level 1350 at this point.
That was a whiff.
And yeah, go ahead, man.
Where was that Nova Bomb going?
I haven't used look. First of all, like the Nova Bomb in Destiny 1 used to be like a bullet. It used to come out fast. And it would, whatever you were looking at is where it would hit. And that's a Nova Bomb that I like. And this trash Nova Bomb they got in Destiny 2 now, the thing be all slow, you gotta arc it and everything. It's been a while.
Bomb now.
It takes some getting used to. I got better with the Nova Bomb as the campaign went on. Anyway,
that's funny.
You get more rewards now. I'm up to, my light level is like 1401 now, I think, something like that.
Oh yeah, you've been playing.
Yeah, so like, and that's just like in a few hours, and to get in. some people may like who aren't into Destiny may think like, oh well, that's so what, you went up 50 like points.
That's a lot.
That's a lot for that, because Bungie is stingy on light levels. Like they want you to grind this for months because like, hey, what else is coming out until the next thing? So they don't want you to get your light level up that fast.
They changed it though. They changed it for this one though.
Exactly, they changed it for this one. So like I'm probably like the people I was playing with, my buddy and his clanmate, they were both at like over like 1500 something. So
yeah, I'm
like,
I'm 1537 right now, and the max is 1560.
right. So they were like somewhere like that. They were like 1530s or something like that. So like, yeah, it is, and it was still a challenge. It wasn't easy.
No. Did you play? You played it with your friend. Was you in a 3-man fire team with him or just 2?
It was a 3-man fire team. It was me, him, and his clanmate.
Did you notice how the health of those enemies scale when you got 3 people in there?
They pulled the Borderlands, which I love because I love that about Borderlands. Like Borderlands, don't think that you can just add someone in there to help you complete stuff in Borderlands and think it's like the enemies are going to be at the same level that they were when you were playing solo. As soon as you add someone in there, they tell you in Borderlands enemies have health and damage have increased, because it's not going to be a cakewalk. And I could tell, like, I immediately, as soon as we started playing with the other two, that my dying increased. I started dying more because the shots I had to adjust again, because like I would take a couple of shots and next thing I know I was dead. I'm like, oh man, all right, let me be a bit more conservative. But it's cool. It's cool. I like it.
Yeah. Well, just for future notice, if you I mean, I always come through and help you if you own. But the biggest thing is every time in the campaign, every time you beat every time you get a chest, those 2 chests drop, that's a save point for you.
Yes, yeah. That's what my buddy told me. He's like, every time you get a chest, that's a save point. So that's
a save point.
Yeah, like
because I was really trying to figure it out. I was like playing solo because Luca Taz were playing with Death Singer, and I was doing it solo. And I was like, okay, I was just playing just like you. I was like, okay, there's going to be a starting mission. I got to do that before I can do anything else. It's probably going to take like 15 minutes to do or 10 minutes to do.
Right.
But it kept going. And I was like, yo, what? Where did this end at? and literally the first mission technically does not end. It's probably like a good 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah, but before you reach the first, like the new hub area, hub area where Ikora is, and I was like, okay, all right. Well, once I finally got there, and then I talked with her, and she gave me a relic and a bunch of other stuff, and some stupid glaive that thing's a piece of crap.
No, it's not.
It sucks, bro. And it's trash.
You know that thing has unlimited ammo when you just swing it, right?
Yeah, but like when you swing it, you're like on legendary, you're just leaving yourself open to get bodied.
Not really.
Okay, I got that. My buddy said to get it up to level 3, and I got it to level 3.
I'm gonna have to teach you how to set your mods up, bro. You got to get on that voice of class, throw on protective light, where whenever you take a huge amount of damage, it mitigates you with damage resistance for 10 seconds, and you can get yourself up out of there.
Okay.
Destiny's an RPG at heart, man. To an extent.
Barely.
Hey,
look, I am trying to be nice. I am trying to be nice. Don't let me.
No, man. I really like that. I really enjoy that you and the fact that you said the good things you did say lets me know that you really do at least enjoy your experience, and that's all I really expect from people. Like, you ain't gotta love it, but just enjoy it, because it's a really good game, and this really makes me think the acquisition with Sony is going to make it even better, because they did this on their own.
Right.
This is before the acquisition.
Right. So that they won't have to do so many things that basically are frustrates the Destiny community, but they're done solely really to kind of like help them keep the lights on. There are monetary reasons behind it that has nothing to do with the enjoyment of the gamer. They won't really have to do that anymore because they don't have to worry about keeping the lights on or how to make it, to the next expansion kind of stuff. They don't need to draw things out the way that they did before.
They just need to make content now.
Right. Which, like, part of the reason why I quit Destiny is for those reasons that, like, I really just couldn't stand the way they were doing things. They just couldn't stand the way missions were set up. I always talk to you and Luca about how, like, there was that one expansion where, like, there was a step in the main campaign was that I was supposed to go to a open public event area and just wait for a specific public event to show up. And I was just like, that's terrible game. That's terrible game design. That's awful. Go to an area and wait for something to happen. It's never something that you should be telling someone to do in a game. It's definitely not a first-person shooter. It was just like, it was boring, and I was like, I would never think that's a great way to design missions in a game. And I based off of how they've done this, I don't expect them to ever do anything like that again, which is good.
I agree.
Which is good.
Cool. Well, it's a good thing. Let's move on.
All right. So next up is, I don't have any game. I do have a trailer for Elden Ring. I'll put that up in a minute. Elden Ring, man. Elden Ring. We were just talking about how Metacritic you should not take Metacritic seriously. And people lost their damn mind when the Metacritic score for Elden Ring came up. That thing was a 98. And I was shocked. I had no idea it would be that high. I knew it would be in the 90s because everything that From Software, the developer of Elden Ring, has done has been in the 90s. So I thought it would be like low 90s scored game. Like, that would make sense, right? No, it was a 90 freaking 8. And I'm just like I actually almost had to do a double take. I was like, maybe it's just like 5 reviews here. No, it was like 27 reviews, and as the more reviews came in, it just remained pretty high. Let me double check what it is right now because I haven't looked at it since.
I think it's 97.
97. Hold on, let me just make sure what the Metacritic is, and of course this is so 47 reviews, 97, which is still not a lot of reviews. I don't know why there isn't that many in, but it's fairly consistent. PC has 39 reviews and it's a 95. Xbox only has 8 reviews but a 95. But it's still it's not getting below a 95 on the I would say you can say PlayStation's the lead platform because it's the one that has the most reviews. It's the biggest it's going to be the biggest platform where it would sell. I'm getting it there. Almost everyone I know that's playing it is getting it there. So yeah, but what do you think about like the fact that like it's been received so well? Let's forget the Metacritic score because so what, right? Like this doesn't change that. Like we just talked about how Metacritic doesn't matter with Horizon Forbidden West. It doesn't change that because we're talking about Elden Ring. The Metacritic score doesn't freaking matter. But what matters is how people who have been playing the game. Shout out to Blaze 4K. I saw him talking glowingly about it on Twitter. He's had the game for a little while now. He's got like 40 hours in it or something like that. Everyone, we say,
mom and pop shops.
Like a lot of people have been playing it, and I don't see anyone saying anything negative about the game. The most that I see people are saying is that the reuse of animations and sounds from other Dark Souls games has been put to use in this game, which you could definitely like knock it for that because people knock other games for reusing animations and stuff. So why should Elden Ring be any different? But all that said, what do you think about how well this game is being received, and are you going to play it?
Yeah, I already bought it. I was going to buy it on PC until I saw the horrific things that were happening on PC, and I'm like, should I be worried about console? But who knows at this point?
It's capped at 60 FPS. Like what?
I know
that right there.
It's like, what? I might as well play on console.
Exactly. I was like that right there. That plus the fact that nobody I know really is playing it on PC, so I'm not really gonna have a lot of people to co-op with. And the main reason why,
PlayStation or
yeah, I'm getting on PlayStation. I'm getting on PlayStation because I know like almost everyone I know that's going to play the game is getting it on PlayStation. Right. So I have a large number of people to potentially co-op with. That's kind of the reason why I wanted to do this big open world and co-op with people. That's, I'm not really a Souls person. The only Souls game I ever played was Demon Souls Remake, and I was forced to. Shout out to T-Rock.
Shout out to T-Rock.
So, but
he's probably already halfway to his next one.
Right. But but this one caught my interest just because of the vast open world, this massive map, and that co-op seems to be made with. I mean, all of them have co-op anyway, but this seems to be a little bit more like co-op in mind, like cooperative kind of thing. So anyway, my bad, go ahead, man.
No, I agree. I just think in general, it's really, really good to see that people are seem to be really excited. And I do think ever since Demon Souls, I think Demon Souls top 10 million, Elden Ring was going to be the heir apparent that was going to be able to take it to the next level, because we're starting to see that it's not mainstream yet, but it has a very, very loyal community. And the more and more accessible they actually make these games, the more people are going to jump into it. Now, that doesn't mean they need to make a easier version of the game. I don't think that should be the case. Mm-hmm. But I do think the way that they're going about it is the correct way of doing it. Everything doesn't have to be a slug out fest like it was in Dark Souls 1 and 2 and 3, being like having a little bit faster gameplay like Sekiro, and like faster gameplay like Bloodborne. I think that's like kind of the sweet spot. And as long as they can stay in that area or in that realm, I think that's what's going to appeal to people a little bit more, because in Elden Ring, you can play it how you want to play it. You spec and build your character how you want to build them to actually traverse to you. You can ride mounts in this one, which is really, really cool. I hear stories that some of the castles inside of the game are bigger than the whole areas inside of Dark Souls 3, wow, which is pretty mind-blowing and mind-boggling if you think about it itself. It just the world building, the atmosphere looks really, really cool and enjoyable. And I think this is going to be the game that's going to like tip people over the fact of saying, what have I been really missing out on all these games? And I do think the only reason people are hesitant is because they keep hearing about the difficulty of the game. But at a certain point, you just need to just say, if a game looks interesting to you, dang the difficulty, go in there and try it, because the only way you'll know if you can do it is if you actually boot up the game and actually try it for yourself and everything like that. But I'm definitely going to jump in there because I've been excited for it. Especially being around Luca being, the resident, Dark Souls fan inside of our community, for us at least. She really brings an excitement to the game, and seeing her gloat about it is like when I talk about Destiny stuff, and that kind of becomes infectious. I mean, she started playing Destiny because I was super excited about it, and she finally got a chance to try it, and she fell in love with it. And I want to do the same thing, because it's always been a game. These are the games I always wanted to play, but it was like, I don't really have to play them. It's not like I have friends that I talk to all the time that play games like this. So it's not like I really have anything to contribute to outside of anybody else when it comes to that. But being in this community, it would be nice to be able to have those main conversations that Strictly be having, that, Sin Vendetta be having, and everything, talking about their experiences in the game. And like I said, just the aesthetic of the game itself makes me super excited to play it. And it doesn't hurt that it's getting 9.5s, 9.7s, 9.8s out of 10, because that lets you know, at least from the outset, that it seems like it's a quality product. And I know we're going to talk about the reviews, but even the people that are talking about this in the reviews, they're saying that it has issues. But the one thing they're consistently saying is, but the world is so enriched and it's so incredible.
I got something to say about that
like
real
that.
quick. I recall some years ago, we were talking, I think it was probably around 2018. It was Scumcast. We were talking about Red Dead 2. And yes. I had a problem with people complaining about the gunplay in Red Dead and the sluggishness of the controls, but yet giving the game a 10 out of 10. And I'm just like, that like a 10 out of 10 is a perfect game. And then I remember people coming at me like, that doesn't mean perfect. A 10 doesn't mean perfect. Yes, it freaking does. Okay, let's stop. Like, no, it's the insinuation that something is perfect, and you give something a 10 out of 10, but then talk about the issues that it has. Like, why did you give it the score that you did? Like, why are you not knocking the game when you have criticisms or drawbacks or weaknesses to the game? Like that's the reason why. Like, I just feel like scores just need to go away from reviews, because clearly reviewers aren't actually using these scores the way they should. Because when you can say a game has X amount of issues, is borderline unplayable. Like, there is not borderline. Let me not say that. That's going a little too harsh. But if you look at the fact that there is no version of this game on any platform that runs at a consistent 60 FPS. And yet this game has a 98, and there's so many 10 out of 10s. It's just like, so y'all just don't even try to like almost as if like how I would say like back sometimes when it comes to certain developers, I think From Software has replaced CD Projekt Red when it comes to being a developer that's just like, it's a FromSoft game.
Right.
So it's going to get a certain level of a pass that other games don't get. Nintendo gets that all the time with their games, which I think are boring and redundant. But you know, it's going to get nines and 10s because it's Nintendo. Naughty Dog, I think some of the storytelling of The Last of Us Part 2, I didn't think was as good as Last of Us Part 1. Technical masterpiece, great game regardless. But I look at some of the criticisms that reviewers gave that game and still gave it a 10. Rockstar, that look like, as I mentioned with Red Dead 2 and the sluggish controls and the bad gunplay, 10. And it's just like, some developers are just have it like that until they do something that people just, you know, gets them on the bad side of the gaming community, and then they become Bethesda. Because Bethesda's bugs used to be, they're charming. They're so charming. Look at that bug. That's so charming. And now it's like, man, what the hell? This trash is this buggy piece of garbage. You know, like, Starfield's not going to get that pass this fall. So it's just funny how that is. I just feel like scores should go away because people aren't using them correctly anyway. And even some of the people that disagreed with me in 2018 about Red Dead are now talking about how, yeah, 10 means a perfect game. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I've been saying. Thanks for getting on my page now. But I think just do away with scores. Some of the best reviews that I see don't have scores, because and I think, like, say ACG, I always bring him up when I talk about reviews. He does great reviews. He doesn't do a score. He does a recommend, wait, or don't play at all system, and I think that's perfect. Forget a score. Listen or watch his review and see what he has to say. When he talks about, he breaks it down by sound, graphics, gameplay, sound design. Like he breaks it down, and I like those kind of reviews. I think I've only done very few reviews, maybe like 4 reviews on my channel altogether, but I don't think I've ever given a score for any of them. I've always just been like, I recommend this game, or I don't recommend this game. I think that's the best way to go about it, especially when so many people don't even look at the review, or they hear, oh, IGN gave it a 9. Bet. Oh, Giant Bomb gave it a 10. Bet.
Right.
Did you hear what the person said? This reviewer wrote a whole bunch of stuff about this game, and you didn't read any of it. You just scrolled to the bottom and saw what the score was. Now you take that score away. Now you're forced to actually read what this person has to say about this game, and maybe you'll learn something. Maybe something in what they say may convince you of otherwise. Although, again, reviews shouldn't. You should be making your own decisions. But if you actually want to if you open the review to hear what someone has to say, then actually read or listen to what they have to say about the game instead of just looking at their score and moving on. So, off my soapbox. What do you think about that? And what do you think about the potential? Because a lot of people are screaming game of the year. It's February. it's people screaming game of the year already. Like, one, what do you think about reviews, and should we do away with review scores? And two, what do you think about Elden Ring being game of the year?
I think review scores is the reason, the actual score is the reason we have the issues that we have inside the community when it comes to people talking about games. Because first of all, most of the people that are talking about these games aren't even going to play these games.
Right.
So it doesn't really matter what a review score is to them. I mean, not the review score, but it doesn't matter what the game is to them as long as it is on a platform that they care about and the review score are negative, either in their favor or positive in their favor. That's the only thing they really truly care about. So yes, I do think we should get back to a scale. I see somebody in the chat was talking about ACG's scale is one of the best ones I can see. And a lot of people do scales like that. And I do agree with that, where it's just a recommendation. You know, it's still your decision to decide if you want to partake in what I say and purchase and play this game. But when it comes to just the overall situation with Game of the Year, it is too early, but I do think it's still it's part of the allure, the excitement. People want to be the first ones to say that, yo, I talked about it back in February that this game was going to win Game of the Year, and I told you. You know, everybody wants to stake their claim as early as possible. You know, they want to throw out a hot take and something like that, which is fine, which is definitely understandable. But talking about it being Game of the Year this soon is kind of crazy. But then again, because we don't even really know what all is coming out this year. We know Starfield's coming out at the end of this year, and I guarantee you when Starfield comes out, if that thing gets anywhere close to a 90, people are going to be screaming Game of the Year for Starfield. But what about Elden Ring? You know, Elden Ring did come out in, February, or not February. Yeah, February. So, are we like throwing that game underneath the bus and saying it's not going to be Game of the Year material no more? I just think that it's just a conversation that people want to have as early as possible, just so they can say, I was there on the ground floor when we were talking about this game becoming Game of the Year, and the game I happened to be talking about happened to win it and stuff. So it's just a conversation thing right now, and people are just excited. I really only see, I don't really see too many people like, Luca or Sin Vendetta on Twitter saying something like, oh, this is Game of the Year, because, maybe because they're a little bit more in tune to knowing, like, yeah, I haven't even played the game yet, so how do I know it's Game of the Year? This is the whole thing we keep talking about, taking people's other people's opinions and equating them to you, because how can you say it's Game of the Year and you haven't even played it yet? You're literally taking someone else's opinion, right, which is the one thing that we need to stop doing inside the community. And that just lets you know how many people actually do that are talking about Game of the Year. But it's fine. People are just excited, and I understand that. And I'm excited for them, because guess what? That just means we're probably going to get a really polished, well, we don't know about polish right now.
No, but polish is not it. It ain't polished.
Right? But when it's all said and done, I do think we're going to get a really amazing game, because it just seems like everybody that's talked about it, outside of the bugs and glitches that the game does have, there's something there that people want to go in and experience. And I think that's by far the best thing that you should be talking about.
Facts. So yeah, like, so you're with me with like, let's hold off on the Game of the Year talk, because I mean, we got God of War Ragnarok that's not out yet.
We got this year,
huh?
That's not coming this year, bro.
Stop it. Yes, it is.
It's not coming this year.
It's coming this year, man.
You know I love God of War, and I would love for that game to
That
come out.
doesn't mean you're right. You could be love it all you want. It doesn't mean that you're
listen,
correct, bro.
Remember when I told you that people want to be on the ground floor and talk about how that game ain't gonna, how something ain't gonna happen? I'm doing that right now. I'm on the ground floor telling you that game ain't coming out this year, bro. It's
Look,
not coming out this year. They are
okay,
not
you
going
derailing my point. My point here is there are other games
Okay.
that will likely be in the game of the year conversation. That's one of them. Starfield's another game that likely would be in that conversation. And like someone mentioned in the chat that Breath of the Wild might come out this year. Breath of the Wild 2 comes out this year.
That ain't coming out this year either.
But look, if it does come out this year, guess what it's going to be? A game of the year nominee, because
win game of the year.
But see, this is what I'm talking. Look, you just criticized people for doing what you just did.
No, but I'm doing it just because of the hate that Nintendo gets. I don't really know what's gonna happen. That's just me.
But we know what's going to get nominated. We know
it's going to get nominated just because it's the Nintendo game.
Exactly, and that's the problem I have with it. I just hate the fact that like certain platforms, certain developers, and certain games just get like, here, sir, let's put you in the front of the line, in front of everyone else. Like you don't even have to prove that you deserve to be here anymore. We just put you here because of who you are and what your name is and what that IP is. It's just it frustrates me.
Yeah.
Anyway, we can move on, I guess. Like we had a good show, I think it's getting a little late here, so I guess we can go ahead and wrap this up.
Late? This is early.
Man, it's late for me. I'm tired, bro.
You ain't tired, man. You about to go play Rogue Company.
No, I'm not. I played Rogue Company earlier.
Are you gonna play Halo and finish the Fractured Temurai event? Or did you already finish that?
I haven't actually no, I haven't played Halo in a minute. I need to finish Halo. Yeah,
shout out to Luca. Luca was in there. She had 6 levels left, she said.
Yeah, I need to I saw that she was playing it earlier. I was busy with work, but yeah, I might play some Halo later. We'll see what happens. But let's go ahead and finish up. Appreciate everybody for coming through. Thank you to the chat. You guys were awesome. Forte, you were awesome as well. Let everyone know where they can find you, sir. Yo, man, Forte everywhere, which is Gaming Forte, YouTube, Twitter, Xbox Live, and PlayStation. Great show, SloMo, as always, man. I'm like I said, I'm super glad this show was on your show this week, on your channel this week, because couldn't tell you how it would have been on mine. But no, if it was on mine, I would have had to. It probably would have been 2 Destiny topics instead of 1. But no, it was a great show. Shout out to the chat. Appreciate all you guys coming through. Brand, if you're still listening, I still love you. I expect a phone call from you in the next 24 hours. If I don't get one, then we really got a problem. Really got a problem, because my feelings are hurt right now. And shout out to Cat Daddy. Shout out to everybody else in the chat. Shout out to Blade X. Shout out to After His Passion with the $10 super chat saying, great show, gentlemen. Appreciate you, homie. Thank you, Passion. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate you, homie. And outside of that, man, back to Destiny. Well, actually, probably not back to Destiny tonight. I got to work tomorrow. I was off the last 2 days, so I got to kind of get my.
Didn't you say back. You were going to stream Horizon Forbidden West? Didn't you say that?
Yeah, but I didn't end up playing Horizon Forbidden West.
All right, I think you owe people a stream, sir. I think you need to stream something.
A stream of what?
Whatever you playing, man. You owe people a stream.
Okay, I can do that. People hit me up on Twitter and tell me what you want me to stream. I'll do it. I'll even set a date for it. But that's it, man. Y'all guys have a great week, and appreciate everybody. You see that Nova bomb that hit exactly where it needed? You haven't seen it yet. You'll see it in a minute. No, I've seen it. You actually arced it over, because if it would hit that thing, if it would hit that little battery in the middle, we would have a problem. Right. Look, I told you I got better. For me, I'm going to finish up Destiny. I might actually do a not necessarily a review, but my thoughts on the expansion once I finish it.
just getting back to doing more videos. I got a video of second part of my Demon Souls playthrough will be out in the morning. It's already scheduled and ready to go. I know the hair video is still pending, man. Every time I think I'm ready to finish it, like another game comes out where I need to add gameplay, like Horizon Forbidden West comes out, and I'm just like, ain't no way I can drop this video now and not have like examples from it, you know, to really show what needs to be done with all games going forward. So like it went back in the oven for a little bit, but I got other stuff I'm working on, other games that I want to talk about that no one else is talking about or even heard of. So just look out for that in the future, and check the Twitch channel, Lunchtime with SloMo. I might be going live at lunchtime tomorrow with some Elden Ring, as long as I can get into it and not have any problems with like the regular launch date on PlayStation or whatever. So, you know, we'll see what happens. But
Lunchtime with SloMo.
Hope you guys have a great night. We appreciate you guys for coming through, and enjoy your games. Peace.